Hold on, people, here I come. Ugh. Today I'm going to tell you the story of how I met David McCullough. Look, great picture of him on the back. Hold on, there he is. The famous historian and one of my heroes. So when this book, 1776, was published, it was announced that David McCullough was going to do a short book tour in the Boston area, and he was going to come to the Harvard bookstore in Cambridge Square. But the event was so popular that they actually had it in a different venue. And I found my ticket inside the book. So they had this event at the First Parish Church Meeting House in Harvard Square on Mass Ave. If you've been there, you know it's a famous building. So I lived in the area at the time, and I was able to get there early, and I got the best seat. I really did. I was so lucky. They don't have benches there. They're called pews. It's a church, so I got into one of the pews, and I lined myself directly in front of the podium where David McCullough was going to speak, and I was probably 3 or 4 pews back. I had the best seat, centered just a few rows back from my guy who was going to come out and speak to us. So I was so excited. And after a while, the place began to fill up. All the seats were taken up. And I still had a great line of sight to him. No one was sitting in front of me. And I couldn't believe my luck. About 3 minutes before the great David McCullough came to speak to us, a very big adult human came into my line of sight, into the pew a few rows in front of me, blocking my view of the podium. He had a camera, a giant camera, on a giant tripod, and he proceeded to set up the camera and his big old self between me and where David McCullough was going to speak. And I was looking around. There were no other seats available. We were packed in there. I couldn't believe this was terrible. And out comes David McCullough, and everyone's clapping and hooting and hollering. This guy's in the way. I can't see him. And the whole time, all I could see was, if David moved a little bit to the left or the right, just part of his head. And I could hear him, of course, but I had to look at the backside of this person who was filming the event, which I don't know where the film ended up. I never saw it, but I'd like to see it because I didn't get to see David McCullough that day. I could hear him, certainly. So that was an ironic bummer because I was really, really looking forward to seeing him. And I had been reading his books for years and really was excited to see him in person. There was a book signing that day, I think, but I didn't participate in that. It was just mobs and mobs of people there. So I already had my copy of the book. Now, fast forward many years later, decades later in fact, this book came out by David McCullough. There's our guy again on the back. He looks great. And this event was going to be held at the Harvard bookstore as well. But in the bookstore itself, not the church. So you could wait in line, buy the book, take your book through the line, and Mr. McCullough was going to sign the books for us. And so I actually finally got to meet him in person. There he was. It was my turn, and there were some strong women, I'll say, that you didn't want to mess with. Probably his family members or someone, or the people who worked at the bookstore. I don't know. These were ladies you didn't want to mess with, and they were ushering people along through the line. So it got to be my turn, and the woman took my book from me, and she gave it to Mr. McCullough, and he was signed my book, and he looked up at me, and I said to him, "It's very nice to meet you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to thank you in person for everything you've ever taught me." Now, he looked at me like I was some kind of crazy person. So that didn't go well. And it just was another disaster. But he's meant a lot to me. He's taught me a lot. He's helped me a lot. And he's since passed away. So we probably won't be getting any more great writing from him. But The other point of this video is that it is so important to read history and learn about history. It feeds into your fiction writing. It helps you with your day-to-day life. It helps you understand the world. It helps you be a better person. So if you're feeling like you're lacking something in your life, not quite complete, try reading history. There's so much of it to read. You can pick something out, pick an avenue that you might like, and learn about it. It's added much to the person that I am. So that's a short video today about David McCullough. I miss him. I wanted to make the point that reading is so important, and reading history is important, and meeting your heroes is also important too. Thank you so much, David McCullough. Thank you to the Harvard Bookstore, and thank you to the, I can never remember the name, First Parish Church Meeting House. May we all go forward together with smiles on our faces. That's it. I'm Joe from Vox Victoria. Another short story for you. Get out there, get off the screen, pick up a book, read. The other thing about books, here, let's smell this. They smell wonderful. Okay. Bye, people. See you in the next one.